Hey guys, let's recap the next episode of Person of Interest called Pretenders. It's really a great themed episode because we have a new number, and his name is Walter, I believe. He's got a weird mustache, works for an insurance company, and at first he's just this like regular, normal guy, and Shaw and John have to, kind of do some sneaking around and figure out what he's hiding. Turns out he's pretending to be a cop in order to do some investigating on a crime that he thinks involves his co-worker's brother's suicide. Turns out he was right. It's not a suicide. It's a gigantic gun trading deal that's going down. And so the thing is, John and Shaw are kind of on their own in this one because, Root's, MIA the entire episode, and Harold has to go to a conference in Hong Kong. Now he tells John and Shaw that it's a Professor Whistler thing, that the university is sending him there, but it's actually a secret mission for the machine, because this involves a person who is a target of Samaritan. So let's do the Harold story first. So he meets this woman named Miss Bridges, who has really good with numbers and algorithms. She's created this multi-conglomerate company, and apparently it's up and coming, and that's why she's at this conference in Hong Kong. And, I mean, there's a little bit of flirting going on with her and Harold, which I'm just not really liking because I'm still him and Grace all the way because that's his real wife, and it's just too beautiful. But turns out he's actually faking the flirting, which is good. But I think she is actually legitimate about it. And what happens is they get robbed, and at first he's like, no, we can't call the cops because my passport's in there, and, machine identity, can't do it. And so he clocks a guy with a baseball bat, takes back the stuff, and it's like, hey, why don't we see each other again? Give me a call when you're in New York. And so they kind of bond over that. But the important thing is that Harold, at the very end, is asking the guy, did you upload the software to her laptop? And he's like, oh, yeah, and why'd you have to hit me so hard? Never mind, here's the money. And so what we learn is that Harold actually set that up, that it wasn't actually a theft. It was Harold trying to get her laptop and trying to put some software on it to infiltrate whatever the heck Samaritan is going to use it for. Because we see the Samaritan guys in Greer, and they're like, ooh, this woman is very interesting. Samaritan wants her for some reason. And so the machine sort of anticipated that and told Harold that she needs to do something before Samaritan gets its hands on her. So back to John. He finds out that Walter's co-worker's brother was the truck driver who was supposed to deliver a shipment that was delivered to the airport by this guy, Banks Van Westen or something. And so Banks got killed, and they're like, what the heck is going on? And so John and Shaw are doing all of the work, and Shaw's actually, pretty handy with the computer and the research, I guess. Except she's eating near Harold's computer, which, yeah, he doesn't like that. But she actually does find the information, and she finds out that, oh my gosh, they made a lot of these shipments, and they're, like, carrying these ultra-explosive guns that, they're huge, and they're totally destructive and crazy. And there was 20 crates missing, which is like 100 guns. And so John goes to Elias and is like, hey, what up with this? And then he sees all of the guns in Elias's control. And Elias is like, oh, this isn't me. This is an armor guy. And, at first John's like, oh, this is Elias's deal. But it turns out that it's actually Elias stealing the shipment to keep the city from losing control, because this is his city, and these explosive guns would shift the balance of power, and he cannot have that. And so, at the very end, we see the armor guy, and, he dies while Elias is trying to interrogate him to find out who the real guy is behind this, because the armor guy was hired by somebody to get these guns. At the end, we kind of suspected, but yes, it is Brotherhood who's behind this. It's Dominic who wants these crazy guns. But good news is that he didn't get them. Elias has them, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but, it's better than being in the hands of Brotherhood. In the entire episode, Walter is, in the middle of this investigation because he has the cell phone that has the GPS coordinates of where the truck was and where the shipment was. And so the entire episode is just these guys who are hired by Brotherhood to try to get this cell phone. And so John has to protect him at the precinct, and he has to, at first he's pretending that, oh yeah, you totally are a cop, let's work together on this assignment. So everybody's pretending in this episode. Harold's pretending, and Elias is pretending, and John's pretending, and Walter is pretending to be a cop. So, well, and besides the fact is John and Shaw are pretending to be these people that they're not. So it was a really interesting theme throughout the episode. The whole thing about Walter is that he's saying, oh, you guys are like superheroes, you guys are so cool. And he talks about how he used to listen to the police scanner, and he heard about this man in the suit. And the reason that he became a pretend cop is because the man in the suit disappeared. And he's like, if the man in the suit can be a vigilante and solve crimes, then, I should take his place. Why can't I do it? So it was kind of nice having that little flashback back to John's alter ego. And it was kind of nice having, a fan, be like, the man in the suit isn't gone, is he? Nope.